Leader, yesterday saw the publication of the Government's Quarter 2 Housing for All Progress Report for 2023. All those with ears to the ground will know it's not exactly a roaring success story. In the report, we conspicuously received no update on the figures in relation to completed new build social housing, the figures detailing new built affordable housing, along with absolutely no mention of the knock-on effects of last year's missed targets. And we were told that nearly a third of the Housing for All so-called priority actions have been delayed in their delivery. The Housing for All for new homes for 2023 is 29,000. We're over halfway through the year and the construction has only begun on fewer than 13,000 of these. I think we really need to be examining solutions to the housing crisis outside the conventional building of houses, while acknowledging that there must be, of course, some form to the backbone of our response. I mentioned before the idea of the government declaring a period of amnesty for capital gains tax on the sale of second homes or apartments owned by an individual and sold on to a person, couple or family who wants to live in, but not to a vulture fund. Capital gains tax is charged at 33%. A third of a person's profit from sale is snapped up by the government that has no hand in facilitating the sale. How many people balk at that idea and are put off all the work and hassle of selling a house they have no use for or for downsizing? We need to be thinking alongside these lines if we are to increase the housing stock that is to be put on the market here in Ireland. On Monday, I actually got the shock of my life. I had an 85-year-old man walked into my office. He'd been on the house for 10 years. He'd been living in a B&B for 6. 85 years of age. I was ashamed. I have to tell you, I was ashamed. Secondly, Cahir, we need to be discussing the digital euro and the future of currency. I am continually baffled by the sheer lack of attention being paid to this in Ireland. The European Commission has put forward a package of legislation which sets out the framework for the introduction of a digital euro, while also thankfully acknowledging the role of cash in our society, and Member States will need to ensure the widespread acceptance of cash payments as well as sufficient and effective access to cash. The European Central Bank has said that the investigative phase of its digital euro project is concluded in October. I think that prior to this, our House should really have an opportunity to put our heads together and set out what we want the future of Ireland's financial landscape to look like with regards to the currency and the control of currency in this country. So maybe you could organise that debate into October with the Minister for Finance. Thank you.
Senator Keogan spoke about the Housing for All Q2 report that was released in terms of the numbers. Housing remains a significant challenge. There is record funding being put into housing. The numbers are going in the right direction in terms of the number of commencements, the numbers of houses being delivered, social and affordable, and obviously we have for the first time ever cost rental as well. And we have a number of new schemes in terms of the tenant in situ is now well funded. Local authorities, that's really getting up and running now to purchase homes where a tenant is in situ and the landlord might be selling, and also the first home equity scheme, the Croí scheme. These schemes are doing well now and the word is getting out and the applications are increasing. So I think the Minister for Housing has done a good job in a very challenging circumstances, but it remains the biggest challenge for government and it remains the top priority, not just for the Minister for Housing but for all members of government, because it is the big issue that we're all dealing with in our own localities. So it is a priority. And also the Senator raised an issue around the digital euro, and I will request that debate with the Minister for Finance for the new term to have a conversation around, I suppose, the legislative package that you mentioned from the EU and just where we're going and how that might look and transpose into Irish law.